question is, the question is the world ready for the type of stuff that we might be getting ready to see? And I'm not sure of the answer to that question in terms of humanity's readiness of what's about to happen. I do believe that mankind in a lot of ways has softened in a good way, not a bad way. Gotten more perhaps compassionate, gotten more closer to something that maybe resembles holiness rather than evil. I'm hoping that's where we've gone. Can I say this for sure without a doubt? What can you say for sure and without a doubt other than there's a creator and that Jesus Christ is the Son of God? I have some coffee ready here to go. I will probably be cutting this off at some... There's going to be a part 3, and then there's testimony that Alex Jones gave that I'm going to cover as well. Right now we're covering the deposition. Okay. We're covering the deposition, and this is all about pertaining to Sandy Hook. And we're going to be doing it here because, I would like to make money on this. But the fact of the matter is that it's such a, let's say, iffy subject matter that it much more makes sense for me to do this on this channel and keep it in this area because we don't want to jeopardize our channel. That makes money. We're going to it right now. What are we talking about? We're talking about the disgusting, fake, kangaroo court bullshit that was done to Alex Emmett Jones. Alexander Emmett Jones, also known as in the lexicon of media as Alex Jones, the former owner of InfoWars, after he was summarily decimated with a lawsuit in excess of $1 billion. He was forced to sell InfoWars to The Onion, and I guess now he is an employee of The Onion, but I guess one of the first things that they wanted him to do was lose weight. Because Alex has a lot. He slimmed down quite a bit. I mean, he's got weight stuff. He's discussed it on his show. His struggles with weight his whole life. He was a really fit guy. I could show you something really quick here. I'm going to show you fit Alex Jones here. Do we have it up here? Yeah, we got it. Okay, I'm going to be showing you fit Alex Jones. You ready for this? All right. Fit Alex Jones. I'm sure it'll be the iconic picture of Alex. It's an iconic picture. He used to be a deadweight. I mean, wow. I mean, he's like, look at that, like 9 months ago. I mean, wow. He's been working out at it, man. He's been working at it. I'm very impressed, Alex. Look at the manliness here. Look at that. We got the manliness. He's looking unbelievably good. Like, what the fuck? Look at that difference. That's when he was going through the court shit. This is now. Like, wow. He slimmed down a lot. But where's Young? There he is. That's an iconic shot. This is the shot that everybody knows right there. There he is. There's no gayness here. I'm just telling you that this is Alex, and this is what you're dealing with. He's a male. Okay? And you don't mess with this shit. For real, you don't. Because it's your country, you know? You love your country, and you want to see it do the best it can. And if we have disgusting freak globalist pedophiles, we have to do something about it. So here we go. We're doing this. This is the deposition. This is right where I left off. So let's go into it. Here we go.
Job. You're the person who signed a sworn affidavit saying that this had been done.
Yes, I relied on my counsel and my crew.
So in other words, this affidavit here, you flip to the last page with me, page 5. Do you see at the very end, the very last 2 lines, it says the answers are true and correct based upon his own personal knowledge and belief? These answers are not based upon your personal knowledge. You relied on somebody else.
My personal knowledge of the lawyer and my crew doing it. And before we came here, we discovered this and had told you and produced it, supplemented it.
See, I really love this. You know why? Because I'm just going to clearly show you. There's no way there's going to be times I'm not going to pause for bullshit like that. Do you see how the questioner, who is an individual taking a deposition, works for the state, or the representing parties for the Sandy Hook families. They are deliberately combative with Alex because they know that he's a man. And if you push him and keep pushing him, you're probably going to get some sort of response that will make him look a certain way. So they are being deliberately hostile to him right off the bat, treating him like a villain. When it's madness. It's madness. There's no way that this man was ever a villain of anything. He was running a fucking radio show. Okay? He was running a radio show which has what? Opinion. And what? Audience members call in and give their opinions. Do you get this? Do you get it? That's how it works. That's running a show. What if I, on Revelation News Radio, were liable every time that somebody said something about, Israel or something on my show, and I didn't know for sure it's confirmed? Oh my God, like you put this info out, you're going to get sued by families for it. That's insane. This is why there are protections for the press, which is what Alex is. He's the press. He's legitimate press. If you believe he's full of shit or not, that's not in the cards. It doesn't matter. He's media. So let's see what the bullshit is.
Right. What I'm saying is here right now, you don't have personal knowledge to say whether these responses are full and complete and correct.
I mean, if you want to be technical as possible, there could be something somewhere. But to the best of my knowledge, we have given you what you requested.
Let's not be technical about it. Let's be really accurate about it. Which is to say, if you wanted to find out if there were videos talking about Sandy Hook, how would you do that?
We would have to do what we did and search for things that don't have any of those names in it. Because I started digging deeper into it, and I said, I remember a video or two, and so we took hours digging around and then found it under another name, and then produced it to you.
Digging around in what?
I don't understand. It's searching in the computer.
What are you searching on?
Holy shit! Archived videos. So he could be doing a broadcast, and they're talking about Epstein, for example. And then a caller could call in and go, hey, Alex, how about that fucking stupid Sandy Hook shit? And then he's supposed to remember that when he's on the air 4+ hours a fucking day. 5 hours a day. If you count the evening news, when he do the evening news. Are you fucking kidding me? Look at the look on his face. Like, do you actually expect me to remember every single fucking clip that's clipped for my show?
Video files? Are you searching transcripts?
Everything, trying to find stuff.
Do you have transcripts of your InfoWars videos?
No.
Okay, so you're not searching transcripts. You're searching videos, right?
Transcripts?
Well, you search words too, 'cause that's what the names are, but yeah.
Okay, and so are you searching the titles?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, you searching anything else?
Metadata?
Those on titles.
Okay,
Titles,
Sandy
yeah.
Hook isn't in the title, it's not in there.
Wow.
No, that's how we were able to find it. It didn't have anything really related to that. I said, I remember this video, so we went and dug through it again and were able to create the exact search term, but it was different.
Okay, so there is a video that doesn't have Sandy Hook in the title that you asked to be produced.
I bet I remember the one because I was very active with InfoWars at the time that this happened. And I can tell you that I think I probably was one of the callers that said, Alex, this is fucking weird. It looked weird. There were weird shit. I'm not going to go over it. It's not fiction. People died, okay? And he never said, he had never perpetuated the narrative that nobody died. That's what he was charged with by the families, and he was summarily, civilly convicted of it fraudulently. There's just zero doubt about this, okay? And this is why I'm going through this. It's therapeutic even for me, you know?
It was late last night. It was a couple of them. I think, believe what we produced them.
You don't know what you did last night. How many videos there were?
I don't remember the exact number. I think it was a couple.
It was a couple. So
I think it was multiple versions of the same one, and we just said, so what? Just put all the copies of it.
And you're saying we've discovered this because you remembered a video that didn't have Sandy Hook in the title, but that was talking about Sandy Hook.
Yes, I remembered a title when I was going back over paperwork, just double checking it, and so we went and called Rob Dew up to the office and went in there and searched through the computer.
I guarantee you I know which broadcast they're referring to. It was a nightly news broadcast, and it had nothing to do with Sandy Hook because Sandy Hook had just happened, and it wasn't on. It wouldn't have been on the title. I remember that night there were multiple people that called in that said, Alex, what the fuck is with this? And what do you want from him? Do you want him to limit the speech of his audience just because they're propagating ideas that you don't like? And then they accuse him of being like a ringleader in harassment against these families. You're insane. These charges were false. If they were harassing these poor families, the scum, InfoWars audience, you should go after each one of those individuals that did it, not this man. This was a sham, and I'm going to expose it all and show it's all a scam. And this happened to Alex Jones under the leadership of Donald John Trump. Disgrace.
I'll show you later. When you do an InfoWars show, there's some sort of written record of that show. What the outline of the show is, what you're going to talk about, that exists, right?
No.
So what's a daily show log? What is that?
Sometimes someone writes notes about topics that were covered, guests that were on, so that somebody can grab clips out of that and make a boil down and derivative of it.
Right, so a daily show log is an outline of that day's show. List of what happens the first hour, what happens the second hour, what happens the third hour, what happens the fourth, what segments, what topics are going to be discussed, correct?
I would think of an outline as what somebody does before a show. So no, I would call it more of a primitive, maybe a log.
Wait, so you're saying a daily show log doesn't occur before the show, it occurs after the show?
Yeah.
It occurs during the show.
Well,
Somebody is, as the show is being...
oh my God. We're going to go, do we want to discuss how the cameras focus in on Alex's face? Duh. You create a spread of the show timeline as it happens, because InfoWars isn't scripted, as you would say. Sure, he has guests lined up, and then usually has a section of the show where callers can call in and talk. There's a format, but it's not. He doesn't pre-script his show.
Being recorded is writing down and creating an outline?
It's live.
Okay, so as the well, are all InfoWars videos live or are some recorded?
Well, you were saying the show, the daily show is live.
Okay.
Right.
I guess every once in a while we record parts of it recorded.
Okay. So when is the daily show log created?
As the show's being made.
Who creates it?
Just one of the people that's in there doing a live show, usually a producer or just someone that makes notes.
Okay. So first of all, your testimony is that a show log is not distributed to employees in advance of the show.
No.
Okay. Second is, if you were to search those show logs, you could discover all the videos that talk about Sandy Hook, couldn't you?
No.
Well, they certainly mention the topics you're...
How the hell could... oh my God. I mean, maybe it's the mental intelligence of the questioner. This is incredible. Like, how is like, I know this is a deposition, but shouldn't Alex have representation there basically saying, what the fuck is the relevance to this? What does this have to do with propagating something that's false? You're asking him your show practices. If you want to have this structured correctly, Mr. Jones, how exactly do you conduct a broadcast? And then let Alex talk. Okay, so if you knew for sure that Sandy Hook was talked about, why would you not have mentioned it to our evidence people? Well, there's times that this comes up in a different format, like audience call-in. And I'm not going to remember every subject matter that the audience call-in on the show is that day. I got a good brain, but not that good.
going to talk about on the show, right?
No.
So in your testimony, if we were to go look in InfoWars production, the documents that you produced, we wouldn't find daily show logs which list that Sandy Hook is being discussed that day.
The log is made. It's not really a log. It's just to mark interesting things that went on during the show.
He's struggling, I think, because look, Alex is older than me by what, probably, I don't know, 10 or 15 years he's got on me. I don't know. So he's struggling with what the word is. He's thinking timestamps. Okay, we talked about Trump's new agenda at the 1 hour mark, we after opening with headlines, we talked about Trump's agenda. He's thinking timestamps. No, nobody's going to timestamp. Oh, at this point, an audience member that called in to discuss Sandy Hook. That's bullshit. That's not done on the show ever. I know the process of his show a bit because I was going to work for the man. Okay? I kind of get the process, and it's a very open format show, which is what made it so popular. And because he had such a great relationship with GCN, Genesis Communications Radio Network, he had a great relationship with them. So you have total leniency. Oh, okay, Alex wants to do another hour. Okay, let him do another. Of course. It's the most successful show on the network by far. Let him do what he wants to do. And if he wants another hour, yeah, we could carry it or not. Sometimes GCN didn't carry the extra hour. But certainly the owner of the network knows the value of Alex Jones broadcast. So, yeah, let's carry it, you know. Anyway, this is like meat and potatoes, how you do the show. And being in a space where I was maybe going to be either producer in the background for a little bit, but then definitely doing on-air talent. I was going to be on-air talent. I was going to be Owen Schroyer, basically. But I had to know a little bit about that, and I did. And that's like, I very much wanted to reflect that style of broadcast with what I did on my radio show. So I understand this shit. And I'm telling you, if they want timestamps of every single moment that Sandy Hook was mentioned, and that's just stupid. This wasn't his cause. If you want to say what his cause was years ago, is 9/11, okay? But his cause was never Sandy Hook. It was a tertiary side issue, and then they blew it up into this abuse thing with the parents, and it's a fraud.
Or like an interesting caller or things like that. It's I mean, that's basically, it's just something to make boil down, like that stuff, things out of. So that's what I'm trying to explain, is that...
Absolutely. The compilation videos of the content that you cut from 4 hours, and you boil it down to a video of about a half hour, that you'll put up on banned video. Bingo. That's what he's doing. That's what gets him views. The banned video, go look on banned video, the website. That's Alex's shit. He might not own that anymore either. I don't know. That might have been part of what he had to give up. I don't know. But banned video. They boil it down to great videos that you just get an idea of what the subject matter is, and you don't have to listen to 4 hours of a radio broadcast if you don't want to. That's what he's talking about.
We only started doing it a couple years ago. That's right.
Well, okay. When you say a couple years ago, so would there be daily show logs in 2015?
No.
So those don't exist?
I don't believe so. No, I think we started like in 2016.
Okay. If you have daily show logs that mention that Sandy Hook was discussed on the show, you should be able to produce those videos, correct?
It depends. A lot of the live show was only archived on YouTube.
And they killed you.
So then that was taken down.
There you go.
And between April 4th...
Do you see how these demons set him up? Right. Oh my God, we need every single mention of Sandy Hook ever. Alex, you ready? You ready for us to rape you? Okay? We need every single mention of Sandy Hook ever, and if you don't give us every single one timestamped, then you are in contempt of court, and you are obstructing justice. That's what they did to this guy. I hope that statute of limitation doesn't exist on this type of shit, and he takes to court whoever he has to get his $1 billion back. Do you get it? This is kangaroo court bullshit that wanted to shut him down, and they did it. And it happened under Trump. Trump was president here.
When you were given first notice that these lawsuits might be filed, and when your YouTube account was taken down later that summer, you took no efforts to save all those videos.
There was over 30,000 videos, and we didn't save those videos.
Okay, so most of those videos you allowed...
30,000 YouTube videos he had on an InfoWars channel. 30,000 videos. Mr. Jones, you produce every video that says Sandy Hook right now for us. Oh, not enough time. That's it. You're done. We gave you all that time. You show it to us now. Oh, you forgot one. Obstructing justice.
...out to be lost when that happened.
Objection form. No, I didn't take the YouTube channel down.
Right, I know. I understand that. But before your YouTube channel was taken down, but after you were sued...
Hang on. Okay, I'm good. Take that. Alex take down the YouTube channel. Do you realize the revenue this man lost? When they took him off Google Play and Apple Store, they delisted him everywhere. They took away his AdSense. They collapsed all of his income with Google, and he still rose. That's how powerful the truth is. People said, we don't give a shit if you're going to try and tell us that this guy can't exist. Where are you going, Alex? I'll be there. And then we all picked up and went with him. Oh, I can't get InfoWars app on my iPhone anymore. Oh, fuck you. I'm going to go to banned video on Chrome and listen. You can't silence the truth. I know this man's heart is 1,000% what it should be, but he got deceived. He got, I'm going to take the pill of Republicans. I'm going to take the red pill, Republican style, and I'm going to operate within that ecosphere, the Republican ecosphere. And it was a mistake, Alex. You know it was. So come back with us, the fucking renegades. Remember that song you play all the time, Alex? Thank God for the renegades and the lives they lead, far ahead of their time, like Jesus Christ and Buddha. You got to come back to that, Alex. We love you. You know, I'm here for you.
You took no steps to preserve any of those videos.
We did. I mean, we did save the videos that we had on our servers.
That's not what I'm asking you, though, is it? When you talk about the videos that were lost, that you don't have, because the YouTube channel was taken down, and the only place you had them saved was natively on YouTube, you don't have those videos. And so, by extension, I don't have those videos, correct?
No, those videos were duplicated on other people's channels. I've seen what you guys have. You have basically everything we ever talked about that.
Am I asking you if we have basically everything, or am I asking you if we have everything?
I don't know if you have everything.
Okay. You don't know if I have everything, correct?
How the fuck could he, when Google goes, no more InfoWars Alex Jones content on our platform, and kills his channel? How the fuck is he going to be able to get Sandy Hook shit that's been deleted? Give me a break.
Let's talk about articles. You know how many articles you produced to me that InfoWars did about Sandy Hook?
I don't know.
You know, it was about several hundred pages, though, right?
I don't remember.
Well, why don't you take a look at page 3, what you swore to?
Oh, here we go. Here we go. Let's catch him. A little backbiting, little fucks. Let's get him on. Let's get him on something. What's your sworn testimony, Mr. Jones? You want this guy to be a fucking computer and know every fucking byte of his videos. That's insane. And dumb.
You see in response to interrogatory number 2? And you can tell me that there are hundreds of pages of news articles about Sandy Hook, correct?
Yeah? Wow. It is a huge news story.
I'm not sure what these numbers mean, but I guess that means 327.
It's your answer, Mr. Jones. Why don't you tell me what it means?
I guess that means 327.
You guessed that it means that.
Articles.
But you guessed that that's what that is.
Well, I'm not a lawyer, so I went off what I believe was best for my counsel.
Okay, again, that answer is not based on your personal knowledge. You're just trusting other people.
Well,
Jesus.
You have to trust your lawyers on a law degree.
Do you need a law degree to figure out how many pages of InfoWars are?
Is it possible? God, I'd love to know the name of this prosecutor, or what. He's not a prosecutor. I guess he must be a representative for the Sandy Hook families, an attorney for them, I guess. Can someone please explain to me how people expect Alex Jones to know exactly every fucking second of every broadcast? This is fantasy world. They just grill him. It's so fucking pathetic. I just keep playing it. It's insane.
Articles you produced me?
Oh, fart, sorry.
327. It just has zeros in front of it.
Have you ever looked at that?
Yes, I read this.
Before you signed this affidavit, swearing that this answer was correct, did you look at page 1 through 327?
I remember it was there, yeah. Yes.
Okay, so when you swore to this answer, you understood that 1 through 327 was InfoWars articles you were
To the
producing?
best of my knowledge, yes.
All right.
InfoWars
And you were
articles.
searching for articles. Did you search for articles on the website as it exists now, or did you search for deleted articles as well?
What?
I don't really understand that question.
What
Well,
the
you
hell?
understand that
What the hell? Did you also search for deleted videos? Do you see that this is clear? It's fucking obvious entrapment. It's like they're forcing him to lie. It's pushing a person into a corner and saying there's 5 lights, and Picard's like, fuck you, there's 4 lights. Captain Picard, there's 5 lights. There's 4 lights.
InfoWars has deleted articles from its website relating to Sandy Hook, correct?
I don't know that.
Okay. So do you know if the search was done on the website as it exists now, or was it a backup of the website as it always existed?
I don't know. I don't understand.
You understand
Yeah.
that there's a website on the internet, infowars.com.
Yes.
It's published live. Anybody can go there and look at it.
Yes.
Okay. There, I assume that the total content of everything that was ever on the website, whether it's there now or not, is saved somewhere, right?
I believe so.
Okay. Was that searched?
I don't remember.
Oh my god. Okay, what was the entire history of InfoWars on Infowars.com searched? I'm sorry. If I were Alex, I would have to laugh at this shit. I would want to take this seriously because it's a serious matter. But holy shit.
Did the company search prisonplanet.com?
I believe so.
Well, it's strange because I don't have any prisonplanet.com articles, and you would agree with me that there has been Sandy Hook articles published on Prison Planet.
They're clone articles. I know this much about InfoWars and Prison Planet and News Wars. They repost their articles on all platforms, of course they do. So you're going to have duplicate stories. Sure. Wow.
Planet.com, right?
But it's a mirror, so it's the same database.
Okay, so you're saying that every article that's ever been published on prisonplanet.com relating to Sandy Hook was also published identically on infowars.com?
Mm-hmm.
Mirror site, I believe so.
Sure.
Okay.
Here you go.
Can you look on page 3 again for me at interrogatory number 4? That interrogatory, you see it?
Yes.
Okay, that interrogatory reads, identify every method by which employees or agents of Free Speech Systems, LLC have communicated messages to other employees, agents, or sources concerning the subject matter of this lawsuit, including the name of any electronic application, program, or service used in such communications. I read that correctly?
Yes.
All right. If you flip the page onto page 4, you will see at the end of this answer, after all the legal objections, that it states the methods by which employees or agents of Free Speech Systems, LLC have communicated messages is via email, telephone, or verbally. I read that correctly?
Yes.
That answer's not true, is it? That's false testimony, right?
Well,
Folks, is there a difference between false testimony and you didn't enunciate exactly the situation with something? Oh, that's deliberate deceptive testimony. They want to make him stumble and get angry.
where is it? Which one?
I'm talking about on page 4, your answer at the very top of page 4. That answer is not accurate. That is false testimony.
Oh, false testimony. No, how about maybe there was a little mistake? No, we're going to be combative. Let's get him riled up because we know if we push the right buttons, we can get him looking bad.
Well, that's how we communicate.
You're saying you're going to testify here under oath you've never received a text message relating to Sandy Hook?
You had to have, Alex.
No, I searched my phone. There was nothing in it.
Really?
I remember that. Yeah, there's no. Oh.
Wow.
Wait, let's back up and make sure we understand this correctly. First, you're testifying that...
That's
what you're
surprising
saying now is
to
you
me.
searched your phone.
Yeah, there was nothing in there. What are we doing it now?
Okay. First, let's go back to the original question. Regardless of what's in your phone right now, are you saying you've never received text messages relating to Sandy Hook?
No, not that I remember.
Okay.
Here you go.
What
I
did you
mean,
do
that's
try to
surprising to
verify that?
me.
Was it just looking at your phone?
Yeah, I mean, you can search at the top. I've never talked about it.
Okay. I've seen in court filings that you frequently destroy your cell phone. Is that true?
What? Destroy your
No,
cell phone?
I've got new cell phones.
Okay, so if it was said in a court filing you frequently destroy your cell phones, that's not accurate. That
What?
Oh, it's destroy? You mean like it gets in a lake or whatever? I'm lost.
No, I mean intentionally destroy. You haven't never done that?
I guess I did get mad a couple years ago and throw one or something. So I guess that is true. I have destroyed a cell phone before.
When was the last time that you either
I remember him fucking absolutely just like guerrilla raging out in one of his live broadcasts, and he took his Neumann mic. It was the big one. I had it, but I lost everything in my life. I'm rebuilding. It was the big Neumann, and he took that fucker and he threw it, and it just blasted apart. And they sold it on eBay, I think. I remember, yeah.
destroyed or replaced a cell phone?
I don't know, like 3 or 4 months ago, I got a new cell phone.
3 or 4 months ago?
But it has the same SIM card, so it's the same deal.
So you have, how far back do you have text messages?
I don't know.
So you're saying you never received text messages relating to Sandy Hook. Is your testimony the same that you've never sent a text message relating to Sandy Hook?
I mean, I've like said, like, to talk to a lawyer, like meeting about it or something, but I don't sit there and talk about Sandy Hook. It's not my identity.
There you go.
I very rarely talk about Sandy Hook, period.
Okay.
Exactly. They made it like this guy was a crusader against the families. Oh, they're all liars. It's the most ridiculous bullshit that I've ever seen in my life. And why did I feel this way when I saw this? Because I lived through that time, and I knew the shows at the time. He was not propagating this. Some of the, maybe audience members, maybe even myself included, said, this looks weird. But then Wolfgang Halbig came along and said the stuff he said, which blew a lot of shit out of the water. And I think probably Alex did have Halbig on, and that was probably, yeah. You're getting slippery. Because he was claiming a lot of stuff, okay? He has some proof to what he says. But, okay? This man did not do that.
Your testimony is you've never sent a text message relating to Sandy Hook to a fellow employee or a source or somebody outside the company.
I think I've talked about meetings with lawyers about it, and that's it.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. And when he says meetings with lawyers, I'm pretty sure he's referring to Wolfgang Halbig. So Wolfgang Halbig is a lawyer. So I'd put money on that. He was texting with Wolfgang Halbig. I never crossed paths with Halbig. I had an opportunity to talk to a few different people about Sandy Hook, but I never took that under my wing as an issue. I entered the scene as a Second Amendment deal. I did. Because my friends pulled a 302 on me, and like it was bullshit that I don't want to talk about. But I called Alex about it, and he took my issue under his wing, and he did a story on it, and that popped my Revelation News. He really vouched for me as a person that you could probably trust, you know. And then it went to, possible employment, you know, and I wish I took it, really. We'll live in Austin, Texas. That would have been sick, actually. But, you know, I did what I did with Revelation News, and I don't really regret it. I love what I'm doing here. So, but I'm going to stand up for him because he deserves it.
You're also saying you've never sent messages over any kind of internal messaging application to a member of your staff about Sandy Hook?
Internal messaging system.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know of any other systems.
You mean are you saying you don't know what an internal messaging system is, or InfoWars doesn't have any?
I don't know of any internal messaging systems other than like a calendar.
Do you know what Yahoo Instant Messenger is?
Yes, I haven't used that in over 10 years.
Do you know what Slack is?
I've heard of it.
Okay. Both of those are things used inside InfoWars, right?
No, I mean, I haven't used, God, it's probably longer than 10 years since Yahoo Messenger. And we used to use that a long time ago, more than 10 years ago.
What do your staff use to send messages to each other in terms of internal applications?
Text messages and emails.
Do they use Slack?
I don't know. I've heard that name.
Hey, Jesus, maybe the younger InfoWars employees use shit like Slack or something. Alex is going to be using iPhone messages, text, and email maybe sometimes. Mainly text. It's all dog shit.
Wait, hold on, let's back up here. When you say you don't know if they use Slack, when you had to answer this question about what methods of communication were used by members of your staff among each other and with sources, what exactly did you do to find that out?
I mean, the only communications with Sandy Hook are like email and verbal and some guests on the show.
That's not what I asked you, Mr. Jones. What did you do to find out what methods of communication your staff used?
I talked to the staff, and I had the lawyer ask the staff to handle it.
What members of staff did you talk to?
I talked to like Rob Dew and I talked to Zimmerman.
All right, let's talk about Rob Dew first. You asked Rob Dew, hey, how do InfoWars employees communicate with each other? What did he say?
Introduction form.
It was just like, hey, give them all the Sandy Hook stuff.
That's what you said to Rob Dew?
Yeah, just like any type of communications on this, just, give it to the lawyer.
How did that help you answer this question?
What?
This question is, what methods of communication were used? How did you answer that question?
I asked, I know the modes of communication, like they talk through email, in person, and over the phone, stuff like that.
You just told me you don't know if
What did I say? Email sometimes, phone, in person. So that's how we communicate. Wow. So what are you going to try and make? Oh, there's another. You mentioned Sandy Hook in this message on Slack. Who cares? How many people are seeing that message on Slack for defamation? This fucking bullshit.
they use Slack or not, right?
Well, when you said the word Slack, I've heard of that before.
Okay, why is that not in your interrogatory response?
Because I've never thought of that, and I don't even know they use that. I've heard of a bunch of other names too.
Let's just make sure we have this really clear. When that question asked you to identify all methods of communication, including any applications, messaging programs, etc., you didn't make any steps to find out if there were messaging programs. You didn't do that.
I've not seen anybody. I've not used Slack. I've not seen anybody use it.
Again, that's not what I'm asking you. I'm asking you for the purposes of answering these questions.
Oh my
You didn't do
God.
Introduction form.
I did say provide anything about Sandy Hook.
it. Right, so, for instance, there's a request for production. Do you see that? The next one is number 1, request for production.
Yes.
And it says all documents created, edited, or replied to by any named defendant relating to Sandy Hook and some other topics.
Mm-hmm.
You see that? So you told your employees to comply with that question, right?
Yes.
But when it comes to the previous question, when it comes to what methods of communication, you didn't do anything to identify those.
I did. I believe.
Alex Jones told his lead producer, Rob Dew, to produce everything they have on Sandy Hook. He was compliant from the start.
Lead counsel and the crew were doing that.
Okay, so again, your answers that you swore to are not based on your personal knowledge. You just trusted that the counsel and the crew were correct, that it was only email, telephone, and verbally.
Well, personal knowledge is I believe that that's what they've done.
Okay. That's not true, though, is it?
Oh
It's
my
not true.
God.
I don't know that's the case.
Okay, so you don't know whether your communications have ever been by Slack or text messages among your employees. You have no idea.
No, we checked the text messages. There's no Sandy Hook.
Whose text messages did you check?
I remember giving my phone to Zimmerman and to the other people and then going around and checking.
That means you checked your text messages, correct?
I checked it myself, and then Zimmerman did some type of more intense thing.
Did more intense thing with what?
With my telephone.
With your text messages,
Yes.
correct? Okay. What about your employees?
I told them to go through it, and that's what they said they did.
Okay, so you're, in terms of trying to find out if there were responsive text messages from your employees to each other, you left it entirely up to your staff to go find those and know if there were any that existed.
That is called having staff. Is this individual doing the questioning understand that when you have a business that's a media organization, you delegate different tasks to your staff? Alex told Rob Dew, the head guy, the big boy, Rob Dew, good man, by the way, I've talked to him. Good man, Rob Dew. Get everything Sandy Hook and give it to him. What else do you need to ask him?
Yes, I told them to do that.
Okay. And so potentially, the employees who are implicated in some of the conduct that's alleged in this petition, they were the ones who were responsible for finding out if there were any text messages.
No, it was the IT guy who went and did it.
Wait, so your IT person went and searched all your employees' text messages?
They talked to the lawyer and then followed this.
That's not what I'm asking you, Mr. Jones. I'm asking you, did your IT person search your employees' text messages, or did your employees search their own text messages?
I know Zimmerman searched mine. I don't know.
Okay. So when you answered this question about what methods have they communicated, you don't know if your employees have texted each other about Sandy Hook. You have no idea.
No, I was told there was nothing there.
Mr. Zimmerman told you that?
Yes.
Okay. So are you saying now that Mr. Zimmerman is able to represent whether there were text messages on all of your employees' phones relating to Sandy Hook?
I don't know about all my employees' phones.
Okay.
I don't know that was what was even asked.
Well, let's look at what's asked. It's right in front of you. Let's look at interrogatory number 4. Turn back one page to page 3. You'll see the question. It says identify every method by which employees or agents of free speech systems have communicated. So it is asking for every employee or agent, is it not, Mr. Jones? Mm-hmm. And that was not done, right?
No, I remember them checking in. I mean, there's no text messages.
Okay, let's make sure we have this clear on the record because you've given a couple different answers.
What?
You were saying that all of your employees texted.
He just accused them of perjury. You're given two separate answers. That is false. He gave a clear answer. That he asked Rob Dew to look for everything, Sandy Hook, period, and give it to the lawyer. That's what was said. Do we get that? Or are we too dumb to hear what was said?
Messages have been checked for Sandy Hook material.
I believe that that was being handled by the lawyer and by Zimmerman, and I believe whatever was found was turned over. If anything, I don't know.
Okay, was anything turned over?
I don't know.
All right.
Are you all right?
Let's talk about request for production number 3.
Huh? Oh, okay.
This request sought all
Pray
documents
for
reflecting
Shanny, Jesus
disciplinary
Christ.
action taken against any employee of Free Speech Systems LLC for publication of false information or for breach of journalistic ethics between December 14th, 2012 and April 18th, 2018. Your response is none, correct?
Yes.
Okay. Let me tap you. Now, Mr. Jones, if you look on page 2, you see where it says a certificate of service?
Hey, babe, can you take
Yes.
my-
And then the last line says November 20th, 2019.
I gotta wrap this up. So obviously this is gonna be another part because I gotta wrap this up. All right. Let's further prove more bullshit because this is what this is for. Shit.
Yes.
Okay. You remember you actually verified a previous set of interrogatory responses about a week earlier. Do you remember that?
Yes.
That's two. Okay, Mr. Jones, I'm handing you what I've marked as Exhibit 2, a previous set of interrogatory responses. And what I'm interested in is if you go to page 4 and it bleeds on to page 5, that's the answer that I'm interested in. I noticed that you had a different answer before that you changed to say none. And I want to ask what the difference between these two answers are. So I'm going to read for you. If you see at the bottom of page 4, do you see that same question, all documents reflecting disciplinary action in request for production number 3?
Yes.
Okay. And if you turn the page, you'll see your answer is on the back there on page 5. And do you see the highlighted portion that states, free speech has never knowingly published false information in breach of journalistic ethics and thus never had any reason to take disciplinary action against any employee. You see where it says that?
Yeah.
Okay. And then you changed your answer in amended response to just say none, correct?
Is this the amendment one?
That's the amended one, yes.
Yes.
Okay. This statement in the first response, that free speech has never knowingly published false information, is that statement still true, or are you trying to say by changing it that that statement's not true?
No, we're just making it simpler here.
Okay. So this statement here, you still stand by, free speech has never knowingly published false information in breach of journalistic ethics?
Absolutely.
Okay. And thus you've never had any reason to take disciplinary action. You agree that that's true under your testimony?
Yeah, not for someone lying.
Okay. So you admit free speech has published false information before. It just hasn't done that knowingly.
Objection.
We made mistakes before.
Okay. And you just didn't, it'd be different if somebody did it knowingly.
Yes.
Okay.
Of course.
And the only reason you take disciplinary action is if someone knowingly published false information.
No, I mean, if somebody was messing up a lot as well, they'd have issues.
All right, so there'd be other reasons you might take disciplinary action in addition to it being knowingly published, right?
Sure, like people aren't lazy or there's a lot of things.
Sure. So people have been careless in the past and let false information get to air before, haven't they?
I don't think that's a fair statement.
You don't think somebody's made a mistake at InfoWars before?
I think people make mistakes. I don't think that people are careless.
You don't take disciplinary action though for mistakes, correct?
General Jones, do you flagellate your employees when they do wrong, sir? Do you give them the old Jesus treatment when they do wrong, sir? How do you discipline your employees, sir? What?
We've taken corrective measures. Talk to people.
Okay, so when it says here, you've never had any reason to take disciplinary action against any employee, that's not true.
Objection form.
Not for journalistic reasons.
Not for journalistic reasons, did you say? So you've taken discipline with people that had nothing to do with the reporting of the news?
Yes.
Okay. But in terms of things that have happened at InfoWars, with reporting of the news, nobody's ever been disciplined for anything that's happened at InfoWars.
Not for knowing and putting out false information.
Right.
That's not what I'm asking, Mr. Jones.
Oh, my
We had just
God.
talked that there are other situations besides putting out knowingly false information. When people are reckless, careless, they make a mistake they shouldn't have made, they're incompetent, they're lazy, and as a result, false information gets published. Has somebody ever been disciplined for that?
Objection form.
Is that a question?
Yeah, absolutely.
I don't understand the question.
Okay. I can see it. Yeah, I can get close enough. Besides putting out knowingly false information, if somebody was reckless, careless, they made a mistake, they were lazy, they were incompetent, and one of those things caused false information to be published, there's no discipline taken for that.
Objection form.
I mean, there's been discipline when people have done things that are wrong. It's just that we never had anybody that we know knowingly lied. So I think that's what we're saying. No one's ever been disciplined for where someone knowingly lied about something.
Okay, well what I'm asking is, if somebody was reckless, careless, incompetent, lazy, did a bad job, and it caused false information to be published, not knowingly, just reckless, has there ever been discipline taken for that?
I don't think
Objection form.
not under your definition of reckless.
What's your...
I can tell you for a fact, I know the time period that this took place. There was not one instance of any InfoWars articles or information that had to be retracted or apologized for during this period. Nothing. He was reporting the news and allowing people to comment on any things they might be thinking about it. This is what his show is.
Your definition of reckless?
Not what we're doing.
I'm not sure what that means. What do you mean? What is...
InfoWars wasn't reckless at all with what they were doing. They were literally putting opinion, a more libertarian slant opinion on the news and painting a broader picture of what the news means in the broader picture of globalism and the New World Order. That's how I saw InfoWars, and then that's why I watched InfoWars, was to get that perspective because I believe that that's what's going on. Now, if you're in the mindset of, oh, the conservatives are the way to go, you're probably listening to Charlie Kirk or Alex Jones today, because now they're kind of like a standard bearer for the conservative movement. But I was a libertarian-minded, independent, not either party, thinking it's all bullshit, the system's bullshit. I chose a side when he did. When Alex went right and went with Trump, I did, and I made a mistake. I have repented and said I made a mistake. I think Alex is getting there. But this is outrageous bullshit. I'm going to be wrapping up soon.
Reckless mean to you?
I mean, reckless would just be with no regard.
Okay. What if somebody is careless? Is that different than reckless to you? Or is that...
Oh my God. You're playing semantic games. Reckless, careless. What do you want him to say? There's absolutely no example of someone going, InfoWars lied here. The facts that they said were false, patently. And it was created by, say, Aaron Dykes. He's a guy that used to work there that I knew. Aaron Dykes. He wrote the article. It's all false. That never happened in InfoWars. Ever. Do you want to say that they could have embellished certain things to go along with a narrative of globalist takeovers? Maybe. But guess what? That just happens to be true. If you have a problem with that, then you have a problem with reality. Anyway.
No, I think careless is a form of recklessness.
Okay. If somebody does that,
Same thing.
Do they get punished?
Of course they would.
Yes.
Okay. Has that ever happened?
I'd have to refresh my memory on.
Well, when these questions asked you to do that, didn't they? These questions asked you, has anybody ever been disciplined for the publication of false information? Has that ever happened? Or did you not refresh your memory when you were answering these sworn questions?
Hold on, let me read it again.
Sure.
Where was that?
Request for production number 3 at the bottom of page 4.
I don't know about between those dates. It just all kind of blurs together. Couldn't give you an accurate answer.
Did you go and try to find out?
Yes, we did not find anything and been writing about that.
Okay, so between those dates, 2012 to 2018, the last 6 years of your business, you were unable to locate any examples of you taking disciplinary action against an employee related to the publication of false information.
I don't think nothing verifiably false, no.
Was there disciplinary action taken for something that was probably false that you couldn't verify?
I'd have to consult my files. I have to look into that more. I don't know about. That's a different question.
Okay. You say nobody at InfoWars has ever breached journalistic ethics, correct?
We're mainly punditry and opinion. Journalism is a very small part of what we do.
Okay, this answer here,
That's definitely accurate. I mean, Alex takes the headline if it's relevant. Usually there's a bigger framework. You could have a simple story like, I don't know, BlackRock acquired a bunch of new shares of another company. That fits in with the narrative. A very few number of people are consolidating the wealth to do a pump and dump and crash the economy. And that could go on with a narrative of they want to control everybody's flow of liquidity in their bank accounts. That you could have an entire show with that subject matter, bringing in the right people to talk about it, Ron Paul and people that support gold and cryptos, maybe even like Mac. We're getting Max. Text Max Kaiser. Let's get him on the show for the second hour. We'll talk about cryptos, what he thinks is going to happen next in cryptos. That's literally the show. Do you get what I'm saying? I know how this works because I was going to work for him. Okay?
this claims that false information has ever been published in breach of journalistic ethics. Do you stand by that answer or do you not stand by that answer?
I stand by that answer.
Yeah.
Nobody at InfoWars has ever breached journalistic ethics causing false information to be published.
Not knowingly.
Not to my knowledge either.
So people have unknowingly breached journalistic ethics.
Ah.
Well, that would be.
See, we're going to insert it. Again, this is what makes it a kangaroo court. We're going to insert that people, they didn't knowingly publish misleading information. They unknowingly did it. So you're still guilty. No, that has not once happened with InfoWars the entire time I've known of the organization, which by the company name is Free Speech Systems LLC. If you ever buy something from InfoWars, you'll see on the return address that it's Austin, Texas-based company called Free Speech Systems LLC, and that's Alex's company. Okay? There has never once been a case where there was an InfoWars reporter that deliberately misled people. That's never happened. In this time frame, okay? Because I was paying attention to everything. Now, outside of that, after from 2017 on, I no longer watched Alex Jones, really. There was a little time period in Colorado where I was starting to get my brain back, and I started to listen to him a little bit. But I cut the cord, really, and I just started living life in Colorado, you know. So I can't, 2017 on, I can't comment, okay? That's just me. But I could tell you for a fact, for the years we're speaking here, I was in it, I saw it, I was following InfoWars, and that never happened, period.
According to whose point of view you're looking at.
I'm asking your point of view. Has anybody at InfoWars ever breached journalistic ethics?
No.
Not that I have in front of me.
Okay. What if someone at Free Speech Systems wanted to say on air, Sandy Hook Elementary School had actually been shut down and wasn't an operating school? What has to happen in order for that to be said on air?
Well, generally that would be someone talking about what other people were saying and why people were asking questions of some of the claims that were out there.
Okay, let's say they wanted to make that claim factually. They just wanted to say that sentence. What has to happen?
It would just depend on the context of where of how it was said and what was said around it.
All right, well, let's just assume nothing was said around it. That's all they wanted to say. They have a reporter, and that's the thing that they wanted to say during...
Now, this is a very interesting line of questioning. And this would be a question for anybody that does news plus commentary mixed with entertainment. You have an active story. What are you going to allow to be reported as actual facts? This is complex, and let's see how Alex answers.
a broadcast that you're doing.
I can't respond to hypotheticals.
Okay, so if somebody was to come to you before a
That's
show,
a fair answer.
and say, Mr. Jones, I want to say this on today's show, you can go, well, that's hypothetical. I can't tell you whether you can or cannot say that.
That's hypothetical as well.
Okay.
That is.
So basically, anybody can say anything they want to on your show.
That's
They don't
not
need
what he
to
said.
Objection form.
It's not what he
It
said.
is a call-in show, that there is no prior constraint on the callers.
That's right.
On any of the guests.
That's correct. Alex prided himself on the fact that he would not screen calls. He started mainly because of insane people saying horrible stuff that would get put out over all the channels, all of the networks across the country, and you could offend some people majorly. Okay, so there's that. But Alex prided himself on the fact that if you wanted to call up and you supported say Nazi ideology, Alex would debate you on it, like Bill Cooper did. There's a great clip of Bill Cooper explaining to a white supremacist why white supremacy is wrong, and he actually had this guy break his programming right on the air with him. It's a beautiful clip, and I'll try and find that for you, actually, and I'll put it in the first comment under this when this is uploaded. I'll try. I hope I remember it. It's a great clip. It shows the heart of Bill Cooper, who was a great man. That didn't agree with this guy, but I really think Bill had some envy of Alex because he was blowing up. His popularity was just surging, far more than Hour of the Time ever did, which is wrong and horrible because Bill's show is so enlightening, which I showed you quite a bit of on the other channel, okay? Which I might unprivate all the videos. It's on the Tento. It's on the Tento one though. But we'll see what we'll do with that. But anyway, let's go back to Alex here.
Let's talk about employees. You have any kind of prior restraint on anything employees say on your show?
Yes, I don't want people to say things that they think are false. I wouldn't have anybody worry for me. It's like that.
Mm-hmm.
All right, well, let's say you have a factual claim an employee wants to make on the air, or that you want to make on the air. What has to happen before you make a factual claim on InfoWars?
That's a good question, actually. That's a good one.
Well, if we publish an article saying it's definitive that X, Y, and Z happened, then we want to have proof there so that the viewers and listeners could see that for themselves. But generally, we're talking about events and what other people are saying, and we're just covering news events that aren't even being contested, or we're covering what the public thinks, like a Jeffrey Epstein thing. Like people don't believe that he killed himself. And would people be sued for that? I mean, the government says that he did kill himself. Most people don't believe that's true. And so nowadays, the establishment doesn't want you to be able to say that. They want to be able to sue you to make you believe the official story and not question it. It's clear that's not working.
See?
And Epstein, we'll definitely come back to Epstein. Definitely want to talk about that today.
Wow, that's pretty interesting. We're going to talk about Epstein here. Well, that's pretty interesting. They're attacking the ability of anybody to say anything about anything. That's not the official narrative that they want to pimp. They don't want him to have the ability to frame the news accurately so that you know how fucked you are.
But I want to talk about when a factual claim is made on InfoWars, and you say, we'd like to present proof so the viewer can have it. You obviously don't present proof of every factual claim made on InfoWars, right?
Most of what we do is not factual claims.
Well, for instance, if you were to get on the air and say something like, Roger Stone lost his criminal trial, you wouldn't need to present your audience with proof of that because everybody knows what happens in that case, right?
Yes.
Okay. But there might be some claims that you make, things like Sandy Hook Elementary School wasn't an operating school. If somebody wanted to say that, what kind of proof would you need before you could say that on InfoWars?
Objection form.
Again, if I'm covering what other people are saying that Google
Yes.
showed that it was an operating school.
Yeah, fine, I'll stop after
That would be
this.
why we were covering people believe that.
Okay, so your opinion is that if you're repeating a factual claim made by somebody else, you don't really have to fact check that.
I'm not even calling it a factual claim.
Okay, you think Sandy Hook is not an operating school? You think that's an opinion?
I don't know the context you're speaking about it in.
I'm just saying right now, if I said to you, Mr. Jones, Sandy Hook wasn't an operating school.
I believe it was torn down.
It's not what I'm asking.
Oh, I'm confused.
I see that.
Okay. I hope you enjoyed this. God bless you, everybody. I appreciate your enthusiasm for me to do this. As you could see, I'm not unconstrained. I have constraints to the amount of content that I can do. So, God bless you. Well, I'll see you for part 3. And I'm going to cover everything with this. I'll probably even cover Owen Schroyer's testimony, all of it. Because I think it's important to do, for me anyway. God bless you, and I hope that Jesus comes back soon. Pizza Maranatha.